my phone rang right in the middle of my last recording, so I had written a little bit, so I'm going to cover it up and see how you do. Okay, so what we're looking at are effects of the sympathetic stimulation of the eye. So is sympathetic stimulation sensory or motor? Dun, 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 dun. The correct answer is motor. Now, if you were my 3-year-old and you said the wrong answer, he would say, eh. No, it's not sensory, it's motor. Okay? And is sympathetic stimulation considered a voluntary motor output or an involuntary? Autonomic involuntary. So, you've got motor neurons that are considered autonomic in nature, and they are coming from where? They're coming from the thorax, from spinal nerves between T1 to L2. It's called the thoracolumbar region, which is why sometimes the sympathetic nervous system is just called the thoracolumbar division of the peripheral nervous system. So motor neurons are coming from this area, which means that they're traveling up the neck all the way to the eye. Okay, so let's think about what will happen to the eye. First of all, before we even do this page, what will happen to the lacrimal gland? If you are afraid, then do you think you make more tears or less tears? Well, it turns out that in severe fight or flight, that lacrimal gland production will be inhibited. So someone will get dry eyes. If that's hard for you to imagine, because maybe you cry when you're mad, and that is a little bit more complicated that way, but think of it this way. If somebody gets really, really nervous, their mouth gets dry, and the same thing is happening in their eyes. Okay, so then we'll look at the ciliary muscle. And the ciliary muscle will do what? Do you think it will be inhibited or stimulated? If it's inhibited, then the lens will flatten. If it is constricted, then the lens will bend. Well, it turns out that in fight or flight, then you have a flat lens. You can think F for far, flat lens for far vision, and a dilated pupil to take in as much light as possible. Even if that means that you might damage your eye. In a crisis situation, your eye just wants as much light as it can have, so it can have as much information as possible to protect you. So both of these are inhibited. So you'll have dry eyes that hopefully are flat so that you can see far away, and a very dilated pupil. If you've ever seen a really, really scared animal, you can't see any color to their eye at all. It just looks pure black because their their iris is completely, or their pupil is completely dilated, and so you're looking and then the darkness that you see is the choroid. You're looking really at the color of the choroid coming through the retina. And then I want to put on here the nerves that are responsible. So the ciliary body could be stimulated, though, different neurons by parasympathetic neurons. I'm going to use green. And do you remember which cranial nerve powers up the ciliary muscle? It's the oculomotor, and the facial nerve stimulates your tear glands.